Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self-love, self-care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about weaponizing the police. I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Kryptonite, y'all.
All right, so you got the mindfulness minute to get us started, get our minds in gear.
All right, so we've kind of covered this once before, but it's appropriate for tonight's topic. So let me get into it. Okay, emotional intelligence is the capacity to recognize and manage our emotions and those of others close to us. If we can identify emotional messages in the expression and tone of others, we're more likely to empathize with them. By understanding how emotions affect our thinking, we can use them for more effective problem-solving, decision-making, and creative pursuits. Finding ways to manage emotions effectively, relaxing when nervous or remaining calm when angry, for example, is the crux of emotional intelligence and can increase our chances of happiness. When you feel a bad mood coming on, find different ways to ward it off. But we won't go into that because that's not really relevant for tonight. So, as we have been seeing in the news lately, we have been seeing a whole lot of Karens, using the police as weapons towards Black bodies. All Black bodies, you know what I'm saying? But tonight, we're going to talk about Black women using the police as weapons against Black men. Yeah, we need to stop doing that, ladies. Okay, we need to be emotionally intelligent. We need to stop putting our men in these types of situations. If we are looking for someone that is going to love us, take care of us, put up with us, he can't do that from behind bars. And if you want some petty stuff, like seriously, come on now, you really gonna call? I have known of situations where nothing has happened. She just mad. She just mad because she can't get her way. And then she calls the police on her boyfriend. And then he gets into a situation. Now he got a case. It's irritating to even go into, because it's like, why are you putting another Black person in a situation like that? And most importantly, why are you putting your man, your significant other, in a situation like that? Just because you mad for a minute. And then when he gets out of jail, you're going to be mad again when he don't come home to you.
Right.
Like, I don't even understand. It takes money out of your household because you going to put money on his books because you ain't done with him. You just mad. And then I don't understand. I don't understand how the men keep going back to him. Like, there's no way I will continuously deal with someone that was always putting my life on the line. Because let's face it, that's that man's life on the line.
Right.
You calling the police because you upset because you can't get your way. You talking about he done hit you and he done put his hands on you because you mad that you done caught him cheating, or you mad that you done found a number in his phone, or you mad because he didn't buy diapers, or whatever your reason. If he ain't put his hands on you, there's no significant reason.
Right.
If he's not putting his hands on you, then what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? But okay.
I mean, well, I was talking to Jay about this the other day when you and I were talking about this very topic. I have a Facebook friend who is going through this a lot, and he goes through it a lot with his son's mother. So whenever he gets a new girlfriend, then her level of petty raises. Now, mind you, she's been in several relationships with several different guys. In fact, she has 2 other children by 2 other guys. But when it comes to my friend in particular, she will do things when he has a girlfriend or whatever. She'll do things like call the police and tell the police that he hit her or he's abusing their son. So when he brings their son back, the police are at her house waiting on him. And so he's had to, go to court. He's had to go to anger management classes and programs. He's never put his hands on her ever. And she even says that. She talks about, oh, he's this great father. He's always there. He's a provider. Anytime I need him for my son, he does this, that, and the other. It's just that when he gets in another relationship, her level of petty goes 0 to 100. And I watch him go through it on Facebook. Of course, you only know what people tell you. So, but based on what he puts on Facebook and what she puts on Facebook, she really is just petty and mad and bitter when he gets a new girlfriend, or he'll say, I can't buy Junior shoes this weekend because I'm going out of town, with my girlfriend, but I'll get him shoes next week. So he didn't say no, he's not going to get him shoes. He just said, I can't get him this week, but I'll get him next week. And then her petty meter goes off. Like, oh, you got money for that chick, but you ain't got money for our son. I'm like, he never said that. And I've seen their back and forth, conversation on Facebook where she does it. I'm like, girl, you moved on. How come he can't?
And see, and that's where we have to become more intelligent emotionally, because it's there's so much going on out here right now. You know what I'm saying? And that for a long time there has been this real serious disconnect between black men and black women. It's been this. It's just been a crazy divide. And somehow we gotta find our way back to each other. You know what I mean? We gotta find our way. We have to become emotionally intelligent about not just ourselves, but also about our mates. And that's both men and women. You gotta know who you're dealing with.
Right.
You gotta know who you're dealing with. And far too often we get into these relationships as young people, not realizing that we're not emotionally mature enough to deal with what's about to come. Because people always talk about, oh yeah, I like the crazy ones, and that seems to be how it goes. Because I'm telling you, it seems to be that the meaner someone is, the more someone wants to just be in their presence. It's okay, you know what I'm saying? You like what you like, but it's just
you like what you like. But they're also, I don't know. I think it's crazy that, to say like, oh, I like them crazy, or I like them thugged out, and this, that, and the other. You like them thugged out until, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like you like what it looked like. You don't like what all it entails. You know what I'm saying? You're not really ready for that. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not, because you end up brokenhearted. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Because we talk about that all the time about, these, black people living these temporary lifestyles. You're living for the situationship and not the relationship. And then before you know it, you have a baby with him. Now you're like, oh, he ain't nothing, or she ain't nothing. Or if you had really taken the time to get to know this person, you would have realized that's not somebody you want to be tied to, with a child for the rest of your life. And then we have these children watching this toxic behavior back and forth, and then they grow up with it and they repeat it, and we wonder why we get further and further apart from, families and having families and, 2-parent households, and I don't need no man. Yes, you do. You need that one. Yes, you do. You need that. Yes. You're supposed to need each other. This whole notion.
Exactly.
I don't need nobody.
If we didn't need one another, then there wouldn't have to be a male or a female. Exactly. We would just be asexual. We could reproduce whenever we wanted to. Do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like there wouldn't be the two halves that come together to make a whole. We wouldn't have to do that. And that is irritating. It doesn't matter how independent you are. It doesn't matter how much money you make. Nobody wants to go through this alone. Nobody want to do that. Who want to sit on this big ass rock by themselves?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, everybody wants to feel love, be loved, have that companionship. I mean, there's people that say they don't. I'm not one of them. No, I don't. But if that's how you want to roll, hey, okay. But the fact of the matter is that there was a purpose for male and female. You know what I'm saying? Because inevitably we need one another. And it's just we gotta somehow find a way to get back to that. And all this petty stuff. I'm trying to. I want him to feel, but just as bad as I feel. I want him to hurt the way I hurt. And it's like you gotta think, get past that. Think about what you're doing for real, because this isn't just about making him feel the emotional equivalent of what you feel. You're impacting this man's future. This man's like your own future. And that of your children. If this man is behind bars, he can't provide for your children, whether y'all together or not.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you want some petty stuff like that, then like, come on. Like come on. If a man is taking care of his child, why are y'all in court for child support? If this man is taking care of, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and he is taking care of that baby, he is breaking you off. If he's not breaking you off, he's giving you what he can when he can, but he's a presence, a definite presence. Like, I'm coming to get my kids on this day. You call him up, hey, I need you to. I'm there. If he is a definite presence, man, forget all that court stuff and having the people all in your business like that. If y'all can be civil, and y'all can be amicable about the situation, man, work that stuff out between y'all. Hey, look, I'm gonna get them this and this when I get there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm coming to pick them up on the week, and then you be a man of your word and be a father, and then she won't have to go down there and you know what I'm saying, go to child support. But if you want some petty stuff and you just like, I'm taking you to child support just because. Like, come, like, that's not, you know what I'm saying?
And most of these chicks don't realize, because they listen to older women in their lives that were just as stupid as they were, that struggle.
We're not going to say stupid. Let's not say
I won't
stupid,
say stupid, but I'll say
stupid.
Just as,
because they hurt. They genuinely hurt.
Just as hurt and mixed up and making decisions that are not always the best. You listen to
emotionally unintelligent. They're emotionally stumped. Yes, they're emotionally stumped.
You go down to get child support and find out that you get less money because child support is taking out their fee. They're going to take out their cut. So they might be killing this check for $800, $900, and you only going to get $50.
Right.
You would
There's that, right, and that too.
Work something out. Hey, we'll put the kid on your insurance. I'll do this for the kid. You come pick them up. They get 2 weeks out of school at Christmas. Can you keep them for 1 week? Shared parenting at its finest.
Right.
Not shared petty, shared parenting.
But everybody involved has got to understand that works both ways. You know what I'm saying? But we talking about, let's stay on track. On track is that we are talking about the petty people. And that's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about people that are petty about everything. You know what I'm saying? Petty about what you doing and what you not doing, who you with, who you saying, not getting their way. That's just, I think it's just the lowest thing. Quite honestly, especially when you're in a relationship with somebody and you say you care about somebody, I think it is the lowest thing to call the police on somebody for no reason. That's so, you know what I'm saying? It's so messed up because there's so much that now you don't put this person into the criminal justice system.
Or worse. I have a friend named Don who, her brother was
no names.
Okay, well, no last names. Anyway, but her brother was actually killed by the police because he borrowed his baby mama's car. He did not return in what she thought was a timely manner, and he didn't answer the phone when she called. So she called the police. He ends up, I guess he had, old charges or warrants or something to that effect. So he ends up running from the police, and he crashes the car and he dies. It wasn't even.
No. See.
So you didn't have to call the police on him. You could have just waited for him to get there.
Okay, so here's the thing with that. Listen, no, because you have my material possession. I was nice enough to let you use my ride. Now, I'm sure that we talked about, I'm sure we had a discussion before you left about what time I needed you to come back. I'm sure that took place.
I'm sure.
If it didn't, my bad. But at some point, if I'm calling you and you not answering my phone call, then that's just fucking disrespectful. And you got my stuff, and I need my stuff, and I can't do what I need to do because you got my shit. No, that was a choice he made to run from the police.
Right.
No, I don't. That's not a good scenario. That's not a good scenario.
I don't know, because I would think even if he was, I guess, because I'm thinking about the big picture and in the grand scheme of life. In the grand scheme of life, yes, he's 30 minutes late bringing your car back, but he's alive. Your children have a father.
Okay, but do we know that he was 30 minutes late? Because here's the thing.
Well, yeah, I don't know the exact time, but.
Sure. But my point is this: I'm sure nobody's calling the police if somebody is 30 minutes late with their car. Now, if you do that, you just should never let nobody use your car. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't do that. Period. But even in the end, by the same token, though, don't be disrespectful with my shit. You know what I'm saying? If we not together, and I'm doing you a favor, and then you gonna shit on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you can't do it. At some point, enough is enough, and too much is just too damn much. And you're not gonna do that. I mean, that's just not a good scenario to use in this situation, because I can't be mad at her for wanting her car back. Now, I'm sorry that man lost his life, but if you had warrants, you knew you had one, and if you know your baby mama and you know that you need to take that car back because you know she gonna, come on now. There comes a time when you know who you dealing with, and you know that there's certain things you can and cannot get away with. Now, if she told you, if you don't bring my shit back at the 30-minute mark, I'm calling the police. You know whether or not she meant that shit when she said it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think about it in the grand scheme.
We're gonna leave that scenario alone. We're gonna leave that scenario alone, because at some point, if you got my personal property and you not calling me you don't even have the common decency to pick up the phone when I call you to ask you where you at when you coming back. Come on, man, how you gonna play me?
What if his phone was dead? Or what if he left the phone in the car? He left his phone at home. I mean, there's a myriad of things that could have caused him to not answer the phone. I'm not saying it right.
I'm gonna say it. I see where you're coming from, but I'm gonna say it again though. I'm sure there was a conversation before that man took them keys where she said, "I need my shit back."
Right.
At such and such a time. I'm sure that happened. And at some point, when you realized you wasn't gonna have her shit back at such and such a time, you should have been like, "My phone about to die, but I'll be there in a minute." Something. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You got a ride. You got a car. Come on, man. Like, but that's some old common decency type stuff. We've lost that some kind of way. We just done lost that, and we shit on the people that care for us the most. Like that, it's like you just keep pushing them boundaries, and it just don't make sense. Like, I don't understand how how a man will continuously go back to a woman that will continuously call the police on him for frivolous stuff.
Right.
For nothing.
And eventually what happens if, God forbid, he really is whooping your tail that time and the police don't show up? Because you've called them so much that they're like, that's kryptonite. She called once a week on that man. We ain't going this time. And that's the time that, that ends your life, or like it goes too far.
Well, see, here's how I feel about that. Because that ain't what we talking about. if you no, I don't think it's gonna be one time you're gonna get your ass whooped that the police don't show up. You know what I'm saying? Like
they might move a little slower.
I mean, they might, but I don't think. I mean, but then again, maybe that would be the one time that he just had enough, and he's like, this time I'm really gonna beat your ass. But that's not funny. That's not funny. Stop. Okay, so anyway, but my point is though, I don't think that's the situation. You know, usually when it happens like that, usually it's the situation where there is no violence happening at all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm really talking about genuinely somebody just picking up the phone and just saying, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm gonna call the police and have them come in and get you. I'm gonna tell them that you hit me. Like, that's crazy. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're causing trauma to your family. You're causing trauma to that man. You're causing trauma to your children because now their father is gone. Yeah, they're watching what you're doing, and then it's having an effect because now they're like, well, if he hadn't done that, then he'd be here in my life. Not realizing, like, you know what I'm saying? Your daughter is learning a lesson, and your son is learning a lesson too. You know, and then it perpetuates a stereotype about Black women. Period. You feel me? It perpetuates a stereotype about being hard to deal with or being difficult or being mad or angry and all the time and all that stuff. At some point, you gotta just be like, you know what? This is getting to be too much. Why don't we just revisit this? I'm gonna walk away. Walk away. You know, whoever, walk away. If you feel like you should never feel like you're so mad about somebody not doing something you want to, like, you can't control nobody like that. Like, you just can't. Right. Like, that don't make no sense at all. And especially when it comes to a situation where, like, the person is making moves to try and make money, to try and make life better. You know what I'm saying? For you and everybody that's in his life. Like, I don't. And then for other goofy stuff, like cheating on, you know, I done caught somebody in your place, or I done caught you with. Because that's not gonna stop him from cheating. When he come up out of jail, he going to her house.
Right.
The police on him. That don't mean he ain't coming back to you tomorrow. It just means tonight he gonna be with her. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Which is
so
it makes it pointless, you know, to be that petty. Like, and you know, in the case of my friend that I was talking about earlier, she will call the police on him for little or nothing. And I'm like, you gonna do that one time, and that's gonna be his last time. And then he's going to walk out of your life and your child's life because he don't want to keep dealing with this every time you get mad or you get in your feelings, you want to call the police. You know, she's called the police and say he's hit her. She called the police and said he stole her EBT card. He like, I ain't even been to your house. I mean, so you talk about weaponizing the police, and she only does it when she finds out he's got a new girlfriend.
Now, see, in a situation like that, once you have so many reports against the person and they're for like stuff like that, there should be some type of, I'm sure that there's some type of database, dialogue, something where they know like this is a problem. And then when it comes to the point where they find out that this is a false report, then yeah, she should have some charges filed on her for making a false report. Like that, like, yeah, because like you can't, that's just messed up to do that to somebody, to put somebody in the system like that, and then put them in a situation where they might possibly lose their life. Because dealing with the police is a real issue for people. For black people, for poor people, but especially for black people. You know what I'm saying? It's a real issue. And people get anxiety and they get to where they can't follow directions, or they can't, because they so like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're afraid, they're scared. Don't nobody want to get shot, and especially be shot down for something that they haven't done.
Right. And you never know, You know,
For
if you're
because
gonna get a
for
good cop,
nothingness.
or if you
Because what?
get a hothead cop, you know, that rolls up and as soon as they get out the car, they pull the trigger. So they haven't even investigated the scene. They haven't taken the time to figure out what is going on.
Right. Or as soon as they get out the car, all they doing is putting handcuffs on people. They're not asking no questions. They just automatically gonna putting them in the back of the car, taking them to jail just because. You know what I'm saying? The report was that he hit her, or that he, you know what I'm saying? But not even really getting the full story, but just straight attacking him, possibly, or just putting him in jail, period. You know what I'm saying? Or put him in the back of that car, period, based solely off of the complaint. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's costly as far as time, as far as money, as far as your relationship. It takes a toll on the relationship too. Like I just don't understand it. I don't understand how women can continue to do it, and I don't understand how men can continue to go back to the women that do it to them. I don't get it. I mean, I know love is love, but come on, man. I don't know, man. That just my tolerance is low. Maybe that's why, because I can't. Maybe is it just me? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I have a low tolerance for things because I don't understand any of that. I don't understand how you can do that to a person. You know what I'm saying? Or
you have a different level of thinking. You have a different, you know, mindset as it relates to, you know, decorum and couth and, you know, behaviors that make sense, behaviors that are conducive to, you know, positive relationships and positive parenting. And so that's why when you look at it, you just go, this makes no sense. Like, to a sane person, this doesn't make sense. But, you know, in their minds, like, they don't see a problem with it. So what we got to do is, you know, continue to talk about it, continue to you know, to raise awareness that this isn't okay. This, you know, and it's okay. Like, sometimes we can't be all rainbows and butterflies with each other. Sometimes we do have to call Black people on their stuff. We got to check them, you know, and check that behavior. Like, that's not cool. And and I think, you know, like I said, you know, continuing to talk about it and raising that awareness and having a conversation and just saying, hey, this ain't the way. There's a better way.
Because it's like you gotta think. You have to really stop and think about what it is that you're doing and what it is that you upset about. You know what I'm saying? Because you upset for right now, and that's understandable. And that man ain't feeling pain the way you want him to feel pain. You can't see him feel the pain that you feel. So right. You go deeper. You dig deeper. You bust a window. You tear up a car. You call the police. You know what I'm saying? Even if you bust a window or tear up a car, don't call the police though.
Right.
Like that's just like I mean, even if you gotta cut up a pair of jeans, if you gotta bleach a Jordan, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because you still gonna cost him money. You know, men like their gadgets, their toys, their material possessions. So he gonna be mad at you for messing up his outfit. You know, he's gonna feel that. But don't use the police as a means of getting even with somebody or getting back at somebody because you temporarily upset. You know, because one, you're gonna end up either bailing him out of jail or put money on his books. Two, y'all probably gonna make up before you even get to the courtroom. I mean, and let's face it, if he hasn't done anything to you, then you know what I'm saying? What is the point of going through with any of it anyway? You know what I mean? You're gonna end up not going to court and backing down, you know what I'm saying? Not pressing charges anyway, because you're lying.
Yeah, and it becomes a waste of resources, court resources, and police.
Yes. And see, and that's where situations like that, we can do a defund the police, not a defund the police, but that's where we can redirect funds. When we have domestic violence situations, there should be a police officer and say possibly a marriage counselor or some type of community service. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, depending, you know, so somebody else that can come in and kind of Like, if there's no violence involved, if nobody has any busted bones, or if ain't nobody broke up or bruised up, then the marriage counselor or so steps in, like, how can we resolve this? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? And you can
Right.
get that type of help in there without necessarily having to have law enforcement come in and try and resolve this type of a situation, because they really not equipped to deal with that. That's really not what they for. They not marriage counselors. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in a situation like that, you have one police officer, you know what I'm saying? And then you have a counselor or whatever. And if the police officer doesn't need to intervene, if he can break up the situation, hey, look, you come over here with me, you just sit out here with me, we gonna chill over here. She gonna talk to y'all. I'm just here to make sure there ain't nobody hurt.
Right.
But I'm not talking to nobody about nothing unless somebody bleed. Or you feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think that leads right into our self-care assignment for this week, which you have.
Oh, do I? Okay.
Yes.
You with me? Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, this is the improve your social intelligence?
Yes.
Okay. See, I got it. Okay, so here we go. Improve your social intelligence. According to the psychologist Howard Gardner, there are 9 types of intelligence. One of the most significant types is social intelligence, the ability to understand and interact with others. Other psychologists argue in modern society, outstanding leaders need a combination of self-mastery and social intelligence. It appears that social intelligence becomes increasingly significant as human societies become more complex. And some scientists argue that the ability to learn from others may have played a pivotal role in the evolution of the human brain. So one thing we have learned from Karen is how to call the police on black men for absolutely no reason. We gotta stop that. Some of those indoctrined European ways of thinking are not conducive to our state of being.
I like it. So as we wrap up this episode, of course, I gotta hit you with the brain science behind all of it. So this week's brain science is a proactive way for police to not allow themselves to be used as weapons. So, how can police stop being weaponized by bias-motivated 911 calls? Too often, law enforcement lets itself be hijacked by a biased call to 911. Usually a caller reporting a suspicious person who is actually just black. In response to a spate of well-publicized incidents, many are saying that white people should avoid calling the police when an actual crime is not being committed. And we can also say black women do not call the police unless an actual crime is being committed. So that will be a start. But police departments also need to retool how they respond to these calls, which is exactly what you said. Black people and other people of color should not have to endure police intrusions that lack a legal basis. When police enforce the racial biases of private citizens, they convert those biases into governmental discrimination. Furthermore, such arrests undermine the legitimacy of police and carrying disturbing historical echoes of when the law explicitly relegated non-white people to second-class citizens. So, thanks to the internet and cell phones, of course, we've seen numbers of calls, people who are doing Karening, or the new word is Chad if you're a man, or Ken.
Really?
Yes. We've also seen a number of black women doing this as well. So, department policies should instruct dispatchers to not unthinkingly send officers to respond to questionable calls with minimal information. So, for example, when a caller reports, he over here acting crazy, the dispatcher should ask more detailed questions to really identify whether the caller is seeing possible criminal activity, or if they are just in an emotional state, which could be diffused by other means other than dispatching the police. So, with that being said, if they do decide to send an officer to the scene, the dispatcher should communicate information that lets the officer know of any concerns or reasons to take the reported facts with a grain of salt, or if something more serious is at play. A failure to pass along such important information will necessarily expose people to serious risk. So boom. So a better way, dispatchers need to ask more questions. They need to use their emotional intelligence and their social intelligence to find out if this really is a call in which the police need to intervene.
And we need to do better as far as the women that do things like this. Ladies, do better. Do better at trying to build that bridge between your child's father or your boyfriend and you. Like that, don't destroy your family and everything that y'all have built in the life of the man that you claim to love, just because you're upset for a few minutes. Really think about what you're doing when you call the police on your boyfriend or your husband. If he's not putting his hands on you and he's not hurting the kids, he's not hurting you, he's not tearing up stuff. I can understand if he's tearing up stuff, then you just want him out the house. I get that, but leave. You know what I'm saying? Leave. But don't do a false report though. Don't make a false report on a person and put a black man in the system and have him caught up like that just because you mad. That's just unforgivable.
I like it. And the best way, as we put it in a bow, to not be mad and practice these social and emotional intelligence is that you need to be a productive person. You can always follow us on social media: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Anchor, and wherever else you get your favorite podcasts, you can find us. And as always, you can email us at flywithusla@gmail.com. I'm Lady Bounce.
Kryptonite, y'all.
And we out of here.
Bye.